बोलो गीता मैया की, बोलो Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki. For everyone who doesn't know the Gita Dhyanam, go back to the previous recordings and just practice it from there, right? We have to move forward, but Gita Dhyanam should be known by everyone. In fact, you should memorize it. It's just like 6 or 7 mantras, and you can use these mantras in your daily prayers, weekly prayers also. All right? Very important. So we're in chapter 2, verse 27? 37. 37. Yeah. Okay. Let's say this sloka. Om hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmat uttishta kaunteya yudhaya krita nischaya. You guys say it? Bhagavan Krishna is telling Arjuna in this shloka, he gives him yudhaya krita nischaya. He gives him nischit gyan. He tells him something which is very certain. How many things do you know for certain in your life? Not many things. You don't even know if you will wake up tomorrow for certain, right? So there are many things which are not nischit. In fact, in Sanskrit you can say they are anischit. So Arjuna is told by Bhagavan Shri Krishna, yudhaya krita nischaya. Whatever I am telling you, it is nischit, it is shashvat, it is sanatan, it is 100% confirmed. There is no need for you to doubt. And what Bhagavan tells him is, hatova prapsyasi swargam. Fighting, if you die, you will go to swarga. If someone tells you tomorrow, do this action, and if you fail, you will go to swarga, and if you win, then you will enjoy swarga on Prithvi Lok, then it becomes a win-win situation, right? Then you have no fear of failure. So, Bhagavan says, Tasmat uttishta kaunteya. Stand, pick up your weapons, Arjun. Yudhaya krita nischaya. Whatever I have told you is nischit. It is certain. 38. Sukha dukhe same kritva. Sukha dukhe same kritva. Labha labho. Jaya jayo. Labha labho jaya jayo. Tato yudhaya yujyasva. Tato yudhaya yujyasva. Naivam papam avapsyasi. Naivam papam avapsyasi. Tato yudhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyasi. Bhagavan Shri Krishna starts now to tell Arjun. In English we call this concept of, sukha dukhe same, concept of staying in balance. Bhagavan Krishna, when we speak about balance, we're not speaking about physical balance. Bhagavan Krishna tells Arjuna, Sukha dukhe, labha labho, jaya jayo. Whoever can remain sam. In Sanskrit, samaha means even. Bhagavan Shri Krishna's name is Samadarshi, means one who sees the entire world with an even vision. He does not have any bias. So obviously, we are not like Bhagavan, we are all imperfect, right? So we have bias in our life. In happiness, we feel different, and in sadness, we feel different. We feel different in victory, and we feel different in loss. You feel different when you are winning, and you feel different when you are losing. But Bhagavan Krishna is saying, Arjuna, whoever understands what I am telling them, tato yudhaya yujyasva. And in this war, whether you win or you lose, it is of no consequence to you. Whether you win this throne of Hastinapur, because you understand the reality of what I'm telling you, you are not bothered by victory and defeat. And when you are not worried about victory or defeat, then the warrior is able to fix his mind on the battle and execute his duty. That is what Bhagavan Shri Krishna is saying. And there is a concept as well, maybe you guys have heard about it. It's called flow state. Anyone heard of flow state? Sometimes athletes or musicians, when they are getting into the heat of the performance, they enter into a flow state, right? where they're doing peak performance and the brain just shuts off. You don't even need to think. You're just executing, you're just doing your job. Though the warrior as well, Arjuna, if you read the Mahabharatam, you will know that they are being shot with hundreds and thousands of arrows from all different corners. They have to defend themselves, and then they have to attack as well. So it requires a very, very advanced awareness for the warrior to move through the battlefield. Anyone can attack you at any time. So Bhagavan Krishna is telling Arjuna, Tatho yudhaya yujasva. You cannot be worried about anything when you are engaged in this battle. If you are thinking about sukh, dukh, labha, alabha, jaya, ajay, then you will fail. And Arjuna, when you focus only on your duty, naivam papam avapsyasi. There is no papam, there is no sin, there is no dusht karma. Even if you take the life of other soldiers on the battlefield, because you are doing your duty, because you are doing your dharma, तो आपको पाप नहीं लगता है. Because एषा ते विहता सांख्ये, I have given to you Sankhya Yoga. That is what chapter 2 is all about. Bhagavan Krishna is teaching Arjuna Sankhya Yoga. And logically you think about it, if Bhagavan has just told you that this sharir is vinashi, Atma is avinashi, right? And now as you're going outside, you trip and you fall and you break your foot. So there is physical pain, but to the one who understands Sankhya Yoga, he just sees it like the same way you break a nail, you break a foot. For him, there's no difference. But for us, we become so stressed, we become so worried. Oh no, there's so much more pain, the bone is broken, it'll take so much time, because you have so much attachment to the sharir. When you understand Sankhya Yoga, the same attachment you have to this piece of clothing, that is the same attachment you have to the sharir. Vasansi jirnani, right? Because you understand all of this is temporary. One day, this sharir will get old and fade away, deteriorate, and a new sharir will come. So you are not so worried about it. Sankhya Yoga is an excellent chapter for those who are struggling with a lot of anxiety and struggling with a lot of overthinking, because you're constantly worried about sukha dukhi. You're constantly worried about labha labha. You're constantly thinking about jaya jayo. You're thinking about winning, losing, pain, happiness, suffering, gain. And because you are thinking about this, you become obsessed with the results. Bhagavan is saying, let me handle the results. I will take care of the phal. मैं आपको फल दे दूंगा, आप केवल कर्म करो. Only engage in action. एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये, बुद्धिर योगे त्विमां शृणु, बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ, कर्म बंधम प्रहास्यसि. This line is very important. Buddhya yukto. When we eat our multivitamins in the morning, how many of you eat multivitamins? Vitamin E, D, C, A, B, patani. How many alphabets, vitamins we have these days? So you eat it because doctor has told you it's good for you, right? And you accept that there's some minerals there. The doctor who has prescribed it to you, he knows exactly how the iron, how the zinc will be absorbed in your body, how it will be dissolved, how the nutrients will be absorbed in your bloodstream, how the nails, hair, eyes, everything becomes stronger. So he has that buddhi. You don't have the buddhi. But both of you are taking the same vitamin, so dono ko labh hoga. Both will get the labh. But Bhagavan is saying, Arjun, now you become like the Vaidya. Now you become like the doctor, because buddhya yukto yaya partha. Before you were just doing your action as Kshatriya, now you do this action with buddhi ke saath, buddhya yukto. Now you become a jnani, as I have imparted this Sankhya Yoga to you, and using this knowledge, karma bandham prahasyasi. Prahasyasi means to break through. Karma bandham means the bondages of action. So, Bhagavan Krishna is basically saying, there are two types of people who are doing action in this world. There is those who are bound by their actions, and there are those who are unbound by their actions. I'll give you an example. There is a company, employee is doing work, right? He has to stay from 8 to 4, 8 to 5. So he is bound by that contract. The boss comes and he has some free time, so he helps out by doing the same work. So both are performing the same action. But the employee is bound by the contract. He can only leave after 5 p.m. Malik is his company. He can do work for 5 minutes. He can do work for 5 hours. He is not bound by that action. He chooses to do the action, but he is not bound by it. Because, one, he understands the nature of this work. It's his company. And two, unko phal nahi chahiye. He doesn't need the reward from this work. He does it only to do the karma. Right? So Bhagavan Krishna is trying to get Arjuna to this state. To fight in this war, not worrying about winning, not worrying about losing, not worrying about killing anyone, just to perform your duty. Whatever training you have gotten, Arjuna. You were taught how to shoot an arrow, shoot the arrow. Mandir. You were taught how to use this weapon, use the weapon. Don't worry about the consequences. Next shloka is very important. Neha bhikramana shosti Neha bhikramana shosti Pratyavayo navidyate Pratyavayo navidyate Swalpam apyasya dharmasya Trayate mahato bhayat Trayate mahato bhayat. Bhagavan says, Arjun, in this dharma, which I am telling you, this Sankhya Yoga, all of it belongs to our Satya Sanatan Dharma. So, even a little bit of this knowledge, Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya. Alpam means little bit. Swalpam means very, very little bit. Very little. So, Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya. A little bit of this Dharma, Trayate Mahato Bhayat, is enough to save you. I'll give you an example. If you go to university, and you sign up for a 4-year degree, right? And you do 3.5 years, but you drop out in the last semester. Do you get the degree or no? You get nothing. You walk away empty-handed, right? Same thing in this world. Whatever wealth, whatever you accumulate, at the end of this life, you can't take anything with you except for Gyan and Karma. So Bhagavan Krishna is saying, Dharma is the only tattva, the only element to which this does not apply. You don't have to know everything in Satya Sanatan Dharma. You don't have to read entire Ramcharitmanas. You don't have to read all Dwadash Skand of Bhagavatam. One shloka, one chapter, one part, one katha will have effect on your life. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. A little bit is enough to save you. It doesn't mean that hum alasi bane, we should be lazy and just learn one shlok from Gita, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, right? Lazy people always find the loophole. How to do minimal work and get maximum gain. That is not what Bhagavan is saying. But what he is saying is, when it comes to dharma, even though it is not the way with anything else, whatever progress you make in Satya Sanatan Dharma in this life, it carries over into the next life. When I went to Bharat, you used to have to buy data on your phone, right? So you'll pay 250 rupees and you'll get 3 GB. This is before Geo Reliance. And you have 28 days to use it. And sometimes they have carryover option. If you don't use the full 3 GB, then it carries over into the next billing cycle if you pay again. So the punya and the jnanam from your dharma carries over into the next life. Nothing else carries over. Nothing else carries over. But this will carry over, and this can't. Trayate mahato bhaya. This can save you. Bhagavan says to Arjun, Vyavasayat mika buddhir Vyavasayat mika buddhir Ekeha kurunandana Ekeha kurunandana. Yeah. Bahushakha yanantascha Buddhayo Vyavasayinam Buddhayo Vyavasayinam. What does Vyavasaya mean? Vyavasaya means you're thinking about it means business in one way, but in this earth it is saying Vyavasayat Mika. Bhagavan is saying it means that which is very pointed, very determined, Eki Lakshya, that which has only one target. Bhagavan is saying, Arjun, he calls Arjuna Kurunandana. Every time Bhagavan calls Arjuna by a name, that name means something different. And whenever Arjuna refers to Bhagavan Krishna, based on the name he is saying, you will understand the bhav, you will understand the feeling in the conversation. So here, Bhagavan calls Arjuna Kuru Nandana. They are from Kuruvansh, yes? But in Sanskrit, Kuru means to do. It is a verb. It means to do, karna, Kuru. So Kuru Nandana also means son of action. So he's trying to get Arjuna to do action. So that's why he calls him Kuru Nandana. Bahushakha Hinantasya Buddhayo Vyavasayam. He tells Arjuna, there are many purposes in life, and there are many people bhatakte rehte hai, they choose many different paths and they're not able to zero in on one lakshya. He says, Arjuna, there is only one purpose in this life, and I'm going to tell you how to be very specific in your life. You know, when you're small, if your children have talent with music, then you want them to learn all the instruments. You want them to learn harmonium, sitar, violin, bansuri, but they can't learn everything and master it. You have to pick one instrument and then you become a master of that instrument, unless you're a musical genius, right? In cricket, everybody wants to be an all-rounder, but the all-rounders can't bowl as well as the fast bowlers. They can't bat as well as the best batsmen. So Bhagavan Krishna is saying, there are many branches in life, but you have to have one lakshya. You have to have very specific goals in this life. Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipaschitaha vedavadarata partha nanyadasti tivadinaha. Bhagavan Krishna says, Arjuna, those who jiska lakshya hai sukh, those who are only chasing after happiness for the senses, then they are not very determined in life. Their determination is very shaky because they are chasing happiness. When the source of happiness changes, then their path also changes because they're chasing something which is not real. Kamat manaha svargapara janma karma phalapradam. Not phalapradam, phalapradam. Kriya vishesh bahulam. Bhoghesh varagatim prati. Varyagatim prati. It's Bhoghesh Varyagatim Prati. Bhagavan Krishna says, there are many people who live in this earth and their ultimate lakshya is Swarga, because they have been taught about Swarga. What do you know about Swarga? Do you understand what Swarga is? There is a lok that is ruled by the devatas, and if you have enough punya, then you go and spend some time in this place after you die. Wahan sukh hi sukh milega. You are blessed with a divine sharir, sukshma sharir. And this body is always young. This body doesn't feel hungry, but you can consume as much food as you want. It doesn't feel thirsty, but you can drink as much as you want. You can dance, sleep, enjoy, whatever you wish for in Swarga. There is a kalpa vriksh that came out of the Samudra Manthan. So this kalpa vriksh is there in Swargalok. Whatever you want, it appears in front of you, right? So this is called Swarga. And Bhagavan Krishna tells Arjuna, there are many who chasing these kinds of happiness in Prithvi Lok. They go to Swarga when they leave Prithvi Lok because that is their lakshya, right? That is what they are concerned about. Janma karma phalapradam. And they exhaust the punyas that they have accumulated in Prithvi Lok to spend it there. Right? Imagine you're working and then you take all of your money and you go to a 5-star, all-inclusive resort and you stay there as long as you have money. When the money runs out, then they ask you to leave. Okay? Similar concept. Bhogaishya. Say, Bhogaishya. Varya prasaktanam. Taya pahya. Tachetasam. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. Samadho na vidhiyate. So Bhagavan is just giving more examples of the same concept. He's explaining to Arjuna that they are determined in life, but they are determined for Sukha Prapti. So there are many people who live in the world and their objective is to be happy. According to our Dharma Shastra, our Param Uddeshya is not to be happy. Our Param Uddeshya is to become closer to Paramatma. This is the purpose of Atma and Paramatma. Paramatma is the anchor point, and he is the source of all things, source of happiness also. Right? If you have a car and you have a problem with the engine coolant, and you give it to the mechanic, and mechanic sees that apart from the coolant, the filter is bad, the oil needs changing, all of these problems are there. So they will fix everything and give it back to you, right? Because Sarva Samartha hai, they have the ability to fix everything. So in the same way, when you make up your mind that you want only sukh, you want only calm, and you work towards that, that is a foolish way of living, because Bhagavan has all of those things and he can give them to you. But it cannot be your lakshya. It cannot be your sankalpam. Because if you only live to obtain those things, तो फिर आप भोगी है. You will become a bhogi. And Bhagavan is trying to make Arjuna into a yogi. He's trying to make him into a yogi, jnana yogi, karma yogi, some kind of yogi. There are many different kinds of yogi, but if you only are interested in bhog, enjoying this world and enjoying Svarga when the time comes, so then your path is different from the path of Bhagavan Krishna. It's not a bad path, bas alag hai. It's just different. If you're not doing anything wrong, you're still going to Svarga. Svarga bahut badhiya jagah hai. It's a very good place. All good people are there. But it is not what Bhagavan Krishna wants for Arjuna. He is trying to give to Arjuna something better, something higher. Because Arjuna is his friend. Arjuna is his family. Arjuna is special to him. So Bhagavan Krishna is trying to give you the same knowledge. That the path of Bhagavad Prapti, this path, we can call it Bhakti Marg, Prema Marg, whatever you wish to call it. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvandho Nitya Sattva. One second. Nirdvandho Nitya Sattva. Nirdvandho Nitya. Okay, this last line we have to say in one, okay? Nirdvandvo nitya sattvastho nirdvandvo nitya sattvastho niryogakshema atmavan. Say niryogakshema va atmavan. Nitya sattva vastho niryogakshema atmavan. That's okay, don't worry about it. There are 16 syllables in one line of the shloka, and we stop approximately after 8 syllables. Sometimes it doesn't break exactly in the middle, so if you stop after 8, it sounds strange. So you have to say the entire line, like Nirdvandvo nitya sattvastho niryogakshema atmavan, because there is no way to break the middle of the word. Bhagavan tells Arjuna, Arjuna, the Vedas contains these knowledge, and it tries to free you from the pair of opposites. Pair of opposites means hani, labh, sukh, dukh, these kinds of things. So Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, this knowledge that is found after extensive research and compilation and studying the Vedas, this is the knowledge I am giving you. So Bhagavad Gita is the sar, it is the essence of all of our Dharma Shastra. In fact, Mahabharata is called Pancham Ved. It's called Pancham Ved, right? Because it is like, it contains all of the knowledge you need to know to live this world, and Srimad Bhagavad Gita is inside Mahabharatam. However, Bhagavan Krishna tells Arjuna, the purpose of the Vedas are to obtain punya and to give a little bit of knowledge, but yavanartha udapane sarvata sarvatah samplutodake sarvata samplutodake tavan sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanataha. Bhagavan Krishna says something very interesting in this shloka. He says, Arjuna, so the one who knows the self means Sankhya Jnanam. The one who understands this Jnanam that I'm telling you, who understands everything that I've been describing to you about the Atma, Paramatma, path of life, Dharma, Karma. So for them, Vedas are not very important. In fact, the Vedas for them is like a reservoir of water if there is a flood happening all around. Pani ki abhav nahi hai. There's no need to go into the well to take water when water is flowing all around you. So this is a higher state of existence. Vedas were meant to be a foundation of Satya Sanatan Dharma. And if the Vedas are the foundation, so Srimad Bhagavad Gita and the Jnanam that it represents is the Shikhar. It is the top of this building. You know, when you're passing outside, the Panditji tells you, if you don't have time to come inside, bahar se pranam kariye, right? Just bow to the Shikhar, bow to the top of the Mandir, and it's like you're able to take full darshan. So, Bhagavad Gita contains all of this knowledge. And truth be told, how many of you have studied Vedas? You don't have the time, you don't have the access, you don't have the ability, right? You have to be born in a certain family, in a certain part of Bharat with access to ashram, gurukul, all of these things. So it's very, very durlabh. But Bhagavad Gita is upalabdh in the entire world. Remember the Gita Dhyanam shlok? Dogdha Gopal Nandanaha. It is not possible for everyone to have cows. But everyone has milk in their home. Yes? So Bhagavad Gita is like the milk. And the Vedas are like the Gaumata. Karmanye vadikaraste. Sorry, raste nahi raste. Karmanye vadikaraste. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Don't say fa, say pha. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma karma phala hetur. Bhur mate. Sangotsya karmani. Karmanye vadikaraste. Ma phaleshu kadachana. This is a very famous shloka, right? All of the Babas in India use this shloka to tell you to give them all of your wealth and don't ask for anything. So this shloka is very misunderstood. People tell you this shloka sometimes to mislead you and tell you you have a right only to work. You should work and do seva, do everything, and you should not worry about the phal. You don't worry about the reward. The reality of this shloka, Bhagavan Krishna is saying, you have a right to work. Or phal main de dunga. I will give you the phal. Let me take care of the result. It is not that you don't have a right to the result. Of course you have a right to the result. If you go to work and you work so many hours, they have to pay you. If you do certain amount of satkarma in Prithvi Lok, the Bhagavan has to reward you and send you to Swarg, send you to wherever you got those punyas for. He will not be unfair. Aapse wo aapka punya chhinenge nahi. Right? Even the Rakshasas, even the bad person, if they do some good action, then they have to enjoy the fruits of those good actions. So Bhagavan is not saying that you don't have a right to the fruits, you don't have a right to the results. What he is saying is, when you understand Sankhya Yoga, and you are not attached to the action, and you are not attached to the fruits also, so then you work only for the sake of working, and you allow me to take care of the phal. Right? That is what Bhagavan is saying. Work for the sake of working and allow me to take care of the result. What does it mean to work for the sake of working? You know, many times people, they have reached the age to retire, but if they retire, they don't have anything to do, so they continue to work. They don't need the money, they have enough saved, but they continue to work. So they are working only for the sake of working. And in that stage, us avastha mein, the attachment also goes down. They're not so attached to the work, and they're not so attached to the salary as well, because they have enough. They're just doing this to pass the time. So that's an example of working for the sake of working. You can only do that if you lose the attachment. Bhagavan says to Arjun, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo Samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Bhagavan Krishna is saying, Arjuna, hey Dhananjay. What is the meaning of Dhananjay? Someone Google and tell me. No. Dhananjaya, name of Arjuna. What does it mean?
So the guy who
Bow and arrow? Are you sure? This is the beauty of Sanskrit. One name can have many meanings. One time I was listening to a Swamiji and he said Dhananjay means one who has conquered dhan, one who has conquered wealth. Arjuna is not tempted by lalach. He is the most powerful warrior in the army of Pandavas. Yet still he never, even once, told Yudhishthir, without me you can't win this war. Tum Raja kyun banoge? Let me be the king. I am the most powerful warrior. He always respected that Yudhishthir is the eldest brother and he has the right to rule. So one of the meanings of Dhananjay is one who has no attachment. Bhagavan Krishna is telling Arjuna that you have to give up attachment, right? That's the whole purpose of this shloka. Sangam tyaktva Dhananjaya. Tyaktva means to leave. Sangam means all attachments. So when he tells Arjuna Sangam tyaktva, that is why he uses this word, this name for Arjuna, Dhananjay. As he reminds him, you are not a very attached person. Remember, Arjuna is not a normal person. Arjuna is still at a very advanced stage of bhakti and gyan, more than we are, at the time of listening to Bhagavad Gita. Don't think that you and Arjuna are the same. We are not like Arjuna. We can become like Arjuna. But we can become like Arjuna before he got this jnanam and become like Arjuna after he got this jnanam. Both are on two different levels. Bhagavan says, Arjun, siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. This even-mindedness, this evenness of mind, again he speaks about evenness of mind, right? Free from the pairs of opposites. This is called yoga. Yoga uchyate. Obviously, yoga, what you were thinking, the physical practice of yoga, wo bhi yoga hai, right? But there's many different types of yoga. There are branches of yoga. And that is one branch of yoga, the physical exercise. But this is also one branch of yoga, this mental exercise, right? Removing all of your attachments. Bhagavan Krishna tells Arjuna, Durena yavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddho sharanam sharanam vichha buddho sharanam vichha kripanaha palahetavaha. Bhagavan Krishna tells Arjuna, he says, those who work with attachment to the results and work for the results, that work is inferior to those who work with who work with evenness of mind. It's very difficult to understand this concept. You can have two people doing the same job, working at the same place, getting the same salary. One of them is very attached to the results of that work, and one of them is not so attached. So Arjuna, Bhagavan is trying to make Arjuna into the latter type of category. He says, Arjuna, work without kam, akamaha karma karoti. Work without desire. Work with detachment, and you will have perfection in your work. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmat yogaya yujyasva yoga karma sukaushalam. Bhagavan Krishna tells Arjuna, he says, this is called yoga, when you can do work with an evenness of mind. Bhagavan Krishna never tells Arjuna ki Baba ban jao, give up everything and go to the forest, do tapasya. That is not what is needed for Arjuna. He is a grihastha ashram and he is a kshatriya. So Bhagavan does not want you to become sannyasi. He wants you to become yogi. There is a difference. You can exist in the material world, you can exist in the normal world and not be attached to anything and live to the highest levels of excellence, as Bhagavan Krishna is explaining, And people might not even realize, because to them you're doing the same thing they're doing, you're working, you're earning, you're living a life. But some of us are obsessed with the results, very attached, and some of us are very detached. So that is what Bhagavan Krishna is telling Arjuna. Now that I've given you this knowledge, buddho, sharanam vichya, now you can remove all of these ichha, kripanaha, phalahetavaha. With this, you can break this cycle, Arjuna. Buddhi yukto jahati ha. Oh, we just did this verse, right? Yeah. Ubhe sukrita dushkrite. Next shloka. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi. Phalam tyaktva manishinaha. Janma bandha vinirmuktaha. Janma bandha vinirmuktaha. Padam gacchantyanāmayam. Padam gacchantyanāmayam. Bhagavan Krishna says, Janma bandha vinirmuktaha. If you really wish to exit this cycle of punarapi janam, punarapi maranam, to be born again and again in this life, Arjuna, this is the path. There is no other path. This path of Sankhya Yoga, understanding what I have told you. And this knowledge is given very early in Bhagavad Gita. It's given in the 2nd chapter. And there is more simple jnana which will come after 2nd chapter. But Bhagavan Krishna structures the knowledge in Bhagavad Gita very brilliantly. And in the middle of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna will get darshan of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, not at the end. So there is no author more brilliant than Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He understands the psychology of Arjuna, and he gives him that knowledge first, which he knows he needs immediately. नहीं तो ये भाग जाएगा रणभूमि से. He'll run away from the battlefield, right? So Bhagavan says, Arjun, yada te moha kalilam buddhir vyatirishyati. Buddhir vyatirishyati. Buddhir vyatirishyati. Tada gantasi nirvedam. Shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. When you accept all of this knowledge, Arjuna, so your buddhi becomes elevated. It rises above maya. Yadate moha kalilam. It rises above moha. Example, children are very attached to their toys, right? You bought the toys for them. They're attached to it, you are not attached. If they lose the toy or it breaks, they will cry. But you are not attached, you won't cry. Because you know, value of this toy is $10, $20. I can just go and buy another one. So, Bhagavan Krishna is saying to Arjuna, this is the state of detachment you have to reach with this entire world. And that is what is difficult. You won't cry if your child loses teddy bear, but if you drop your phone in the drain, then you will cry, right? Because $2,000 to buy a new phone. If you crash your car and it's your fault and you lose your car, then you're very upset. Because attachment is still there. So Arjuna, Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, when you really understand the true nature of this world, nirvedam shrotayasya shrutasya cha, then everything that you see, everything you hear, everything that you interact with, you start seeing them as the same, and you rise above this moha. Shruti vipratipannate yada sthasyati nischala samadha vachala buddhir tada yogam avapsyasi. Bhagavan Krishna says, Arjun, when your intellect reaches this high level, then you attain self-realization. Yogam avapsyasi. What is self-realization, devotees? It's a word that you'll hear many times in Bhagavad Gita. I've told you about the existence of the Atma. So you know the Atma is there, inside of your Sharir somewhere. You know it is there, but you haven't realized it. Because you still feel pain. You still feel fear. You still feel attachment. When you stop feeling those things, then you have realized the Atma. Right now you know about the Atma, but you haven't realized the Atma. Do you understand the difference? So that is what Bhagavan Krishna is telling Arjun. You will reach that stage. We'll stop here. The next shloka, Arjuna will ask another question to Bhagavan Krishna. So this is a good place to stop. Bolo Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki, Bolo Gita Maya ki, Bolo Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai. Thank you everyone. We'll be uploading the audio online as we normally do. And if anyone is not in the WhatsApp group, please join the group. In case we have any cancellations or adjustment in time, we'll always send a message there. Jai Shri Krishna.